Welcome to Wellness Tools Reconsidered, a conversation series dedicated to seeing how effective wellness approaches can become stronger just by pairing them with an insight that lightens the load. For this episode, we are diving into internal family systems and psychodynamic tools, the trusted strategies people rely on to regulate their emotions, take control of stress, and live their lives with greater skill. These tools are highly successful. Their value is clear. We're looking at one very basic, yet frequently ignored question. If you can clearly see where your difficulties start, how does that shift things? And how can that clarity instantly make these same tools feel more effortless? This is neither a lesson nor a new set of steps to follow. It's a quiet reflection on insight, effort, and the way your existing commitment can begin to feel far less heavy, all while keeping your current toolkit intact.
Okay, so let's talk about that feeling. You know the one, you were doing the work, You're in therapy, you're mapping your parts with IFS, you're journaling, you understand yourself so much better.
What?
But it just feels like a full-time job, like you're constantly managing your own mind.
If you look away for a second.
It all just slides right back. So why is that maintenance so heavy?
That's the real question, isn't it? It's that gap between understanding why you have a pattern and actually feeling relief from it.
Right. And that gap is what we're digging into today. We want to look at why these amazing psychodynamic tools can sometimes feel like such a heavy lift.
And how maybe a shift in perspective, looking a bit upstream, could be the piece that helps you finally put that weight down.
But first, we have to give these tools their due. I mean, things like IFS and psychodynamic work are considered the gold standard for a reason.
Oh, absolutely. They earn that trust.
The beauty of IFS, for me, is how it completely changes the goal. You stop fighting with yourself.
You stop trying to crush the symptoms.
Exactly. You start getting curious about them instead. The whole internal war just stops.
That's its core contribution, really. Instead of seeing, say, anxiety as some kind of defect, IFS teaches us to see it as a part.
A part with a job.
A part with a job. A part with a protective reason for existing, no matter how disruptive it feels.
And that, I mean, in a practical sense, it lets you unblend from the feeling. You can finally say, okay, a part of me is anxious instead of I am anxiety.
It creates just enough space to relate to that part from a calm, grounded place instead of being totally hijacked by it.
Then you add in the psychodynamic tools, which help you see the history.
Yes, that helps you trace it back, to connect the dots to the younger version of yourself who created that protective part in the first place.
It turns what felt like a symptom into a survival story.
And that just dissolves the shame. It restores a kind of self-trust.
Okay, but playing devil's advocate here, if the tools are so good at explaining the history and removing the shame, why am I still holding on so tight?
That is what we're calling the effort problem.
It's just exhausting. You do the work, you identify the part, you thank it, you understand the childhood stuff.
And then it's Tuesday morning, and there it is again.
Yes. And you have to manage it all over again. It's this constant manual effort.
There's a really great analogy for this in the source material we looked at. Imagine you're driving a car, but the alignment is way off.
Okay, I can picture that.
Now, you're a good driver. You can keep the car on the road. But what does that feel like in your body?
Oh, you're gripping the wheel. You're constantly having to pull it back to the center.
Like fighting the drift every single second.
Yeah.
And what happens the moment you relax your grip?
You're headed for the ditch.
Right. And in a lot of therapeutic work, we focus only on the driver. We say, you just need to grip harder, be more mindful.
We treat the exhaustion like it's a personal failure.
When really, the problem is the car's alignment. It's structural.
So this is where the idea of upstream and downstream comes in.
Exactly. This is an idea from the book The Lens that changes everything.
So downstream is me in the driver's seat wrestling with the wheel.
Yes. Downstream is the behavior, the symptom. It's where IFS and other tools do their amazing work.
But upstream is the alignment itself.
It's the belief system, the cultural rule that made that protection necessary to begin with.
Okay, let's make that real, like a perfectionist part.
Perfect example.
So the downstream work is me using IFS to soothe that part, telling it that it's okay to relax.
Which is vital. But the upstream insight is recognizing that part is reacting to a huge civilizational belief, the one that says your value is your output.
Oh, wow. So that part isn't just carrying my personal story.
No, It's reacting to the water we're all swimming in. It knows the rules of the game.
And when you only treat it as my personal issue, you're asking that one little part to carry the weight of the whole culture.
Precisely.
That's a huge shift. It doesn't mean the tool is wrong. I still need to work with that part.
Of course.
But knowing the upstream cause, it validates why the struggle is so real.
It changes the entire experience. It stops being about what's wrong with me and becomes about recognizing the context. You're not tired because you're weak. You're tired because the road is slanted.
And I guess that recognition is where the real relief starts.
It lets the nervous system finally settle a bit. You can stop blaming yourself for not being able to drive straight without any effort.
For anyone who wants to explore that upstream idea more, the book, The Lens That Changes Everything, is available for free from the Creative Humanity Alliance. We can put a link in the notes.
Yeah, it's definitely worth exploring if you're feeling that kind of burnout.
So we'll leave it there, but maybe just for you to think about this week. What if that exhaustion you feel isn't a sign that you're failing at the work?
What if it's a sign that you're trying to solve a systemic problem with only personal effort?
Something to sit with. Thanks for diving in with us.
As we close, it's worth saying clearly, insight doesn't replace tools. What it changes is the relationship to them. When struggle is understood not as a personal failure, but as something that formed for understandable reasons, effort often softens. The tools you already trust begin to feel more supportive and less corrective. If you already use these practices, there's nothing new you need to adopt. This conversation is simply an invitation to see the work differently and to notice what changes when recognition replaces constant management.